Welcome everybody to the effing title. This is going to be episode 35, and this week we present to you the NFL Week 4 and Week 4 review and Week 5 preview. As you can see from the screen, and if you can't see from the screen, you can probably hear. It's just me tonight. One of the guys has meetings, the other one lost power. So, with that being said, it's going to be a weird podcast with just me doing it, but we're going to do our best. So, to start off, let's talk weekly picks. So, weekly picks for Week 4, me and Scratchy both were able to tie at 10-5, and Fedge was at 8-7. So, overall, we did all right still. We're still positive. With that being said, I just pressed the wrong goddamn button. There we go. Total picks. So this is our total picks for the year so far. Somehow I'm still in the lead. Somehow, I don't know. I'm 41-22. Scratchy is 39-24. Fedge is 34-29. So there's that, and then we come to the first major thing that we're going to talk about, and that is COVID-19 in the NFL. So as we already know, we didn't have the Titans playing the Steelers. That game got pushed to later in the year. As we already know, Cam Newton tested positive and wasn't able to play. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have more news. The Titans have been found to potentially be breaking the rules on whether or not they were allowed to practice outside of the NFL facility. This is something new that just came in recently. I don't get it, man. I don't understand this sort of stuff. It's the same thing whenever I see like an NFL player getting like a Dewey. Getting a DUI. It's like, motherfucker, you can literally pay some dude to be your chauffeur. Like, come on. We met inside the facility, too. Jesus. So, all sorts of problems with the Titans. Then we have the Patriots. Stephon Gilmore just tested positive as well. But Jeff Fedge made sure to remind me of this earlier today. That the Titans should forfeit this weekend, right? If they were to forfeit this weekend, okay? If they were to forfeit this weekend, the Bills would win by a score of 2-0. However, that score would not be calculated into the bigger picture once it comes down the road, which I find very interesting when it comes to statistical breakdowns come playoff time. So, right now, we have a big issue right now with players testing positive. And hold up a second, I'm just getting some more news. The Raiders have now a positive test. So we have the Raiders, we have the Titans, we have the Patriots. I mean, it's one of the things what we were talking about earlier today on stream is this the beginning of the end? Is this the beginning of the end for the season? So one of the options for breaking the rules of COVID-19 are recent, is forfeit, potential forfeit, and loss of draft picks. Yeah. It's one of those things, man. There's all these rules in place specifically to keep these guys safe, right? So, this is one of the things that we were going to talk about tonight, and then last minute things change stuff. But one of the things that we were thinking about as a group, we had mentioned in the old text messages, was this. Is one of the things we had talked about is adding in another bye week for everybody. Add a bye week in right now. Fucking put it in place right this second. Put it in, push the entire league back a week. right? It gives everybody a week to get on board and make it very fucking clear to these people. Find the people. Take the draft picks away. Do something right this second to set a fucking standard right now, because there needs to be one. You know, when you have, I think if I remember correctly, when I told Fedge this earlier, it was 11 players on the Titans have tested positive. Fucking 11 of 54? You have a starting quarterback. You have the reigning defensive MVP. Like, I mean, it's just, come on, man. It's fucking ridiculous. So that was one of the things we were talking about, and this was one of the things. I was excited about with tonight, because I felt like this could be a really big, fun discussion. So maybe we'll have it next week or another week as well. But one of the options that I was thinking of while I was at work, I don't fully know how this would work, mind you, but this is one of my things that I was thinking about. What if they basically scrap the season right now, right? Take the schedule that there is and just fucking rip it up. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to play every 2 weeks. Either every 2 weeks or rotating weeks. So one team will play 1 week, and then one team will play next week, right? And all we're doing is we're playing in-division games. So Ravens play Bengals, Ravens play Browns, Ravens play Steelers. And we finish the season like that. So each team technically would have a 2 week break, but we would still have NFL football on TV every single week. It would just be divisional. It would just be rivalries. It would be basically the thing that calculates whether or not you're making playoffs or not. Do that and then go from there for the playoffs. That way, then, so I mean, like, for instance, AFC would be 1 week, right? The entire AFC are playing their games. Next week, the entire NFC is playing their games. And just, it's the easiest way to do it right now. I mean, there's going to be travel problems, when you think of it, because you got the Giants going to Philly, you got the Giants going to Washington, you got the Giants going to Dallas, but still. Semantics aside, there has to be a simple way to do this right now. And honestly, like, this is my thing. We potentially could shorten the season with this. But it makes sense, right? Either that, or and this is where it potentially could get interesting. Okay, this is the time that would be beautiful to bring in new teams, 2 teams per league, AFC, NFC, and change the entire NFL up and change the entire divisions up. Change everything. Right? The AFC, it should be the AFC North, right? Patriots, Bills, Jets, Giants. The blah, blah, blah South, Bucks, Miami, Carolina, Jacksonville. And these are all things that a Fedge is saying in the chat right now. But, I mean, like, it just makes sense. Everything makes sense. Philly, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit. Right? It's time to change everything at this point. Right? NFL is kind of on a slump a little bit from what I've seen anyway. But this could be a huge shakeup that the NFL kind of needs. And then the easy thing to do is certain rivalries, keep them. Make them mandatory yearly things. For instance, Pittsburgh Ravens. Ravens-Steelers game has to happen every year. It's a very simple one. Clock it up every single year that rivalry happens. Make it so every team has that rival, right? Every year they have to play. They do it in the NCAA. Why can't they do it in the professional level? Right? I mean, like, some of them are already in division, but if we're separating the divisions, the rivalry games have to stay, man. These are things that we will talk about in another podcast, probably next week in episode 36. But I honestly think this is the perfect time to do this with everything that's happening right now, this is the perfect time to do this. And one of the other things, and I'm just going to throw this in there as a potential maybe kind of sort of thing that they could do as well with this. What if they also included the XFL at some state right at this, and they turn the XFL almost into like a minor league, like how the NBA has the G League. Baseball has all of their divisions. You know, why not do that with the XFL at this point, right? Like I said, NHL, AHL. You know, big, this is all big picture, just kind of off my mind, fucking craziness. But, right? I mean, like, NBA, G League, NHL, AHL, MLB, AAA, AA, NFL, XFL. One plays in the fall, one plays in the spring. Make it so certain teams can only pick up players from certain teams, and then teams have to, in the summer, drop players into those teams, and they still have to draft people, though. Just saying. I mean, like, there has to be a way. But anyways, so that's COVID-19 in the NFL. Things are going to get a little bit hectic here for a week or two. Right? But anyways, so the predictions, the scores, everything, all of this stuff is going to be based off of if the games are actually being played. Because obviously, me and Fedge were talking about it, the Titans game probably isn't getting played for the second week in a row because their team is a bunch of idiots. Also, Corey Davis is one of the recent ones, apparently. So, moving on. There's the schedule. It's not pretty like last week because, yeah, the website that I keep trying to use keeps fucking up. Anyways, here we go. Starting off, Thursday Night Football. We have Buccaneers and Bears. The entire group, all three of us, are picking Buccaneers. Scratchy is picking the Buccaneers to win 31-13 over the Bears. The Buccaneers are, week by week, it seems like they're getting better, especially offensively. Defensively, it seems like they're either doing really good or they're really bad, right? And they just got torched by a rookie quarterback this past week in Herbert. So it will be interesting to see how that dynamic plays. Fidge is going to hate me for bringing this up, but I'm going to. As of right now, Foles, as a starter this season, is 0-1. Mitchell Trubisky this season, as a starter, is 3-0. Some of the throws that I saw Foles making, just, like, there was one, I remember one specifically. He got it, he turned, he looked directly at the receiver the entire route, threw it, the DB jumped it, batted it down, kind of did the typical thing, and then Foles was like, bro, if you're going to stare down your receiver, that's what you're going to get. I don't know. I don't trust Foles, man. Foles has always been one of those quarterbacks I just haven't trusted. I don't think he's a franchise guy. I think he's a decent backup that can come in and help you win games when you need to, a.k.a. the Super Bowl run. You know? But I don't see it. I don't see it. I think the Buccaneers, I don't think they're going to run away with it like Rob says. I think this is going to be a little bit of a closer game. But yet again, though, I don't think Foles is going to get it done. You know? So that's the Thursday night game. Tom Brady is also undefeated on Thursday nights during the season. So that's a weird stat that I didn't know. So, minus opening night, Thursday Night Football. If you ever hear me randomly announcing a stat like that, it's because Fedge is in chat. Because his power went out. So, he's currently in chat talking. So, I'll be randomly going to him every now and then. So now we go to Sunday Night Football. Let me get a real quick drink. See, this is the joy of having other guys with me. Is because I can actually drink while they're talking. All right, Rams at Washington. The entire group, the entire pack, we are unanimous once again It is Rams, and Scratchy says the Rams will win 31-21. The Rams looked like they struggled last week versus the Giants D, which was funny because Sean McVay actually said that during the week, and we all thought that he was just like, he was either being serious or he's just being super cocky and just saying that, like, oh yeah, we're gonna struggle. Apparently they really did struggle, so it'll be interesting to see how they do against the Washington defense, which their D line is pretty legit. Last week they messed around with Baltimore a little bit, you know. However, on Washington's front, Dwayne Haskins has now moved down to third string. But is Kyle Allen really better? Like, really, is Kyle Allen better? Because I don't see it. I don't see that he's better. I might be wrong. But I mean, I don't. We're gonna see Alex Smith. Fitch says we're gonna see Alex Smith. We're kind of scared about it because we've seen him moving around. We know what his knee injury really was. We're kind of scared about that. I just got done actually before I got on watching a video with Ron Rivera. It was 26-10. It was 26-10. A few minutes off the fourth quarter. It was like 4th and 15. And apparently Ron Rivera said, go for it. And apparently he told his like OC or someone, like, this will be the play that determines whether or not Haskins will be our starter from now on or not. Like, this will be the play that, I lose trust in him or not. And Haskins threw it underneath to a guy because no one was open in the end zone. So he threw it underneath, and the guy didn't get the touchdown, so it was a turnover on downs. And apparently, that was the play where Ron Rivera was like, "Yep, that's it. He's not our quarterback." I don't know, man. It's one of those tough ones. Haskins has been put in a tough situation his entire fucking career in the NFL. Drafted by a head coach who was on the hot seat. He's played for 3 head coaches now. He's in a system with a staff and a head coach that didn't draft him. It's a tough situation for him. I feel bad personally because I do think that I think he could play well as a starter if he was given the potential to be, a good player. I think he could. But I mean, right now, I just don't see it. Bills at Titans, and like I said, this is one of the games that potentially might not happen. Bills across the board for the Pack. The Pack picks the Bills 100% across the board. Scratchy says the Bills are going to win 27-9. I don't know about that score, but it's going to be close. I think this is going to be a close game. The Bills are the real deal, man. They are the team in the AFC East. All hail King Allen in the North. I mean, like, teams have been able to slow him down a little bit, but it's not, period. No one's been able to fully stop Allen. And it's scary. Because everybody fucking doubts him. The defense is just starting to get healthy. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why everybody is doubting this team. It literally is mind-boggling. I think the Titans, if they do get to play the game, the run game is going to be even more important than it normally is for them. Because I feel like they're going up against a very good secondary, especially with Josh Norman coming back to the defense. And like I said, the defense is getting healthy again. So this is a healthy defense. Josh Norman, Tre'Davious White. Well, then, like we've all said, this all determines on whether or not the game actually gets played. Because, fuck us actually having football, right, Tennessee? Eagles at Steelers for the 4th pick in a row. Yes, I did just do that first. The 4th pick in a row. Steelers across the board. This is the first close game, or one of the second close game that Scratchy has picked. 23-17. I still don't trust Wentz. I still don't trust Wentz. I did the play-by-play on the channel Sunday night of the game. Throughout the entire night, I don't trust Wentz. I hate the fact that Wentz, every time Wentz fucks up or makes a bad play, they just like brush it off. And it's like, oh, it's just a bad thing. It's just a bad play. Oh, he has a bad day. Oh, it's just because he doesn't have a good line. Oh, he doesn't have a good line. Oh, he doesn't have good receivers. Oh, he's just, he's not playing well. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But because of course I'm a Ravens fan. If Lamar Jackson has a fucking bad throw, everybody immediately says he's a giant fucking flop. Meanwhile, Wentz hasn't done fucking anything in Philadelphia. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't won your Super Bowl. Because Nick Foles fucking did that, and he's already fucking gone. He can't win. He can't make fucking players. My thing is, if you're an elite quarterback or a great quarterback, like everybody says fucking Wentz is, you have to be able to make players that aren't great. And he doesn't. He's not a good quarterback. I hate how they use Hurts. Congratulations. You beat up the 49ers, who have a quarterback who sucks the entire game, and half their team's on fucking IR, or they're, not even playing right now. Congratulations. And you almost fucked the game up, too, if it wasn't for Mike McGlinchey. Steelers didn't play last week. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Fedge just made a great point. It might be, the way they use Hurts might be as bad as the way that Sean Payton uses Taysom Hill in New Orleans. And it's pretty close. I mean, anytime Hurts went in, it was like, oh, cool, it's going to be a run. Call it straight away. The one time it wasn't, it was going to be a reverse pass back to the quarterback. Like, fucking, just put him in a quarterback. Literally, take Wentz off the fucking field. Put him in a quarterback and have him run a pass play. Let him do what he does best. Be a fucking quarterback. Right? To me, this is just screaming Tebow in fucking New York Jets again. Because that's all they did with Tebow when he was with the Jets. They would put him in every now and then, and he would just run fucking read option stuff and run the ball. Hurts, of course, obviously, is a better quarterback. By far. Just let the kid fucking play. I can't really say much about the Steelers because we didn't watch them play this past week because of the Tennessee Titans. But they're going to do what they always do. If they do what they normally do, run the ball, Ben doesn't fuck up, the defense plays well, they win this game easily. Easily. I don't even think it's going to be 23-17. I think it's going to be like 30-7. I don't think the Eagles have any offense against the Steelers defense at all. Cardinals at Jets. This is my first fucking wild card of the week, where Fedge and Scratchy are both picking the Cardinals. I'm picking the Jets. That's right, Jets, Jets. Rob's saying Cardinals are going to win 38-17. My thing is this. The Cardinals are on a 2-game losing streak right now. Back-to-back weeks against teams that they should have blown out. Right? We saw a spike the first 2 weeks for them, and we even said on here, we're like, God damn, this is looking like a really good fucking team. And the past 2 weeks, fucking completely tanked out. Right? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this team anymore. Because literally, they went from being, holy shit, this is a top 10, maybe even top 5 team in the NFL, to, they just lost to the Panthers, who didn't have a win. And I can't remember who the fuck they lost to the week before that, but it wasn't a good fucking team. The reason why I'm picking the Jets is because Cold Ice Joe motherfucking Flacco Man's the sinking ship now. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to get his bucket out, and he's going to start fucking getting some of that water out, and he's going to fucking take them to their first win of the year. It's going to happen. I think that Darnold is inexperienced. I think that Darnold isn't that good. And I think that Joe, even behind that terrible offensive line, Joe will be able to at least stay cool enough to make the throws that he needs to make. Because if we're seeing Darnold making some good throws to receivers, because they barely lost last week, I think Joe can win this game. I really do. I think Joe can win this game. But anyways, moving on. Raiders at Chiefs. Chiefs across the board. Scratchy picks of the Chiefs to win 37-20. The Raiders are so close to being a good team. They're so fucking close to being a good team. But it's a year or two away. It's not there yet. They're getting there though. And it's cool to see. It's cool to see a team kind of hit rock bottom, kind of, and then slowly start climbing up. And you can physically see that, like, they're so close to being, like, a really good team again. It's kind of cool seeing that. The Chiefs had a tough game versus the Patriots. They had a really tough game against the Patriots. I don't know if it's going to be that tough, though, this next week. Mind you, the Raiders have one of the best run games in the NFL. But Mahomes versus that Raiders defense, I don't know. I don't know. I think Mahomes is going to tear that shit apart. You know? I think the Raiders need a little bit more. And, wait, who has the worst? Oh, the Raiders have the worst run defense in the NFL. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is not only in the running for probably Rookie of the Year, but also he's just one of the best backs in the NFL right now, which is kind of scary. He's going to have a huge day Sunday. So now we go Jags-Texans. So this is the funny thing. Across the board, we have Texans. 27-17. Scratchy picks. I almost picked Jaguars. This is going to be my second wild card of the week. But I almost picked it. But I didn't. Because of one man. Romeo Crennel is the new interim head fucking coach of the Texans. That's it. Done. Watch out, NFL. Thank God they finally fired Bill O'Brien. Scratchy said that he picked this like 2 weeks ago. Me and Fedge don't remember it, and we're not going to remember it. So unless someone can actually find the exact time and which video it was and puts it in the description in a comment, until then, I'm not buying it. The Jags lost a close one versus the Bengals, and it's the Jags. So Jags are another team that, like, it looks like they're like a year or two. It looks like a year or two away from getting their shit together. And like I said before, I love Laviska Shenault. That was one of the wide receivers I was a huge fan of out of Colorado. This kid Robinson that they have as a running back, I love the way he's playing. Miles Jack is looking really good this year. They have a lot of young stud parts around the defense. Overall, it's just, and yeah, I mean, as Charles just wrote in the chat, who would have thought after giving away their future, the Texans get rid of Bill O'Brien? I mean, it's about fucking time. That's all I can say. It's about fucking time. Bengals at Ravens. Across the board, we're picking Baltimore. Rob has this game being 34-19. The Bengals get their first win. We've been picking the Bengals to win week after week after week here. And we love what we're seeing from Joe Burrow, even though we trashed him all the way up until the draft, even after the draft, and even up to week 1 of the year. We fucking trashed that kid every fucking step of the way. But now you're playing a real team, Joe, in Cincinnati. You're playing fucking Baltimore at home after we got embarrassed 2 weeks ago. That never spells anything for anyone, right? It doesn't spell good for anyone when that shit happens. Last week, we did it to Washington. This week, your team, offensively, yeah, your team's a little bit better than Washington. I'll give you that. Your team's a little bit better than Washington. Your defense, though, is going to get lit up by Lamar, by Hollywood, by Mandrews, by Mark fucking Ingram. And it's going to be so fun to watch. I can't wait. Like if Burrows thinks he's seen some hard hits so far this year, which if you guys go and look, he's taken some really hard hits this year. But if he thinks he's taken some hard hits this year and now he's going into Baltimore with Judon, Patrick Queen, Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams, Derek Wolfe. Yeah, this is gonna be a fucking bloodbath. I can't wait. Panthers at Atlanta. Me and Scratchy are both picking the Panthers. Fedge, however, is picking Atlanta. Scratchy says the Panthers will win 28-24. They said they're going to win a close one. Panthers finally get their first win of the year last week. Huge momentum against a divisional opponent. And I think that's going to play a huge part in this game. They finally have some momentum going. They're finally starting to kind of get it going now. Atlanta got blown out by the Pack. Atlanta got blown out by the Pack. You know, the team, Atlanta just isn't good right now. Offensively, Atlanta's good. Defensively, Atlanta has names all over the place, but none of them really do anything. And as I've stated, every single week we have A, B, A. Anybody but Atlanta. I'm not picking them again for the rest of the season. I've already stated it. If they play the Jets, I'm picking the Jets. Jeff has a great point right there. He says, are you saying this is going to be another firing after this one? I think it will be. I think the Panthers win. I think the Panthers go into Atlanta. The Panthers beat Atlanta. And potentially not a 4-point game. Because as much as I hate Teddy Bridgewater, he's getting that team fucking moving now. Mike Davis is running the ball well. If they fire Dan Quinn, maybe something happens. Like I've been saying all year, you can't be a defensive-minded head coach and have your defense suck that fucking bad. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Defensive-minded head coach, your defense is one of the worst in the league, if not statistically the worst. I don't know, but Fedge is normally our stats man, so. Moving on, though, we have the Dolphins at the Niners. Here's my second crazy pick of the week. I am picking Miami. Welcome to Miami. Fedge and Scratchy are both picking the 49ers. Scratchy has the game being 17-16. It's going to be a close game. Miami has been playing well, but been getting beaten no matter what, which way you put it. They've been playing well. They played Seattle pretty well. They've been just getting beaten. But the Niners aren't fully healed. You know, some of them are getting back. Some people are coming back. However, are they going to play? And as I've just been told, Jimmy is practicing again. I was going to say, I had a whole thing about, if Jimmy doesn't go, they need to play C.J. Beathard. I don't know why they're playing Nick Mullins. C.J. Beathard has a full season under his belt, basically, being the guy for the Niners. Let him go. Let him go. Also, P.S. Mike McGlinchey sucks at pass protection. If he was any better at pass protection that game, they would have won. I'm throwing it out there. I'm gonna straight up just say it. I have no problem saying that. They win that game if Mike McGlinchey doesn't suck on pass protection the last 3 plays of that game. They beat the Eagles, and the Eagles aren't in first place. It's that simple. Giants at Cowboys. Also, the other thing, quickly going back to Miami, I just think Miami's playing really well. The question still remains, though, is I feel like Tua has to play at some point this season. The real question is when. It's week 5. I don't know when the Dolphins' bye week is. If someone in chat knows when the Dolphins' bye week is, please tell me. I don't know when their bye week is. What I will say is I know for a fact, as a Ravens fan, having a rookie QB start after the bye is huge. We did it with Lamar. We kind of changed the offense a little bit. But it's huge. It completely fucks with so many teams. Put him in and just let him kind of just do his thing. Yeah, like, it's week 11. Oh, that's too late. It's too late. You can't do that. You can't do it then. I mean, I guess you could. Depending on what their record is, I guess you could. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think Tua has to start at some point here. Coming down the stretch here, he has to start. Fedge is saying that he should play week 10 and go Jets, bye week, Jets, Bengals. I don't know. I think it would be a huge momentum boost to go Jets, have your bye week, and then have a starting brand new, have a quarterback change, but keep it completely under wraps and try not to let it out that that's happening. If they can potentially do something like that, and just have him come up out as a starting quarterback versus the Jets after the bye week, that'd be fucking wild. Right, moving on. Giants at Cowboys. We all picked the Cowboys. It's going to be 30-10, Scratchy says. The Giants are so fucking bad. Oh my god, they're so bad. The Giants are so bad. I don't get it. Now the Giants' defense is playing pretty well. They played pretty well versus the Rams. Mind you, yeah, Charles just said the only good player is injured. Saquon Barkley's injured. But Saquon Barkley's been injured almost his entire career right now, really, it seems like. But the fact that one player taken away destroys his team. By the way, the team wasn't good when they did have him playing. It's fucking... You just saw the Jets put up like 30-something points, I think, this past week. The Giants haven't come close to that, I think. I could be 100% wrong with that, mind you. I'm not the stats guy. I don't know what they need to do. They need it's just as bad. It's like the Giants went from being Super Bowl with Eli to bottom of the fucking league, and they have Daniel Jones. Like, I don't know. Cowboys should easily win this, honestly. But the question is, though, is like the Cowboys are becoming a version of Atlanta, right? They're doing really well offensively, but the defense is fucking trash. And I was watching something recently about it, and it was kind of interesting watching it because I wasn't expecting it. They were talking about how if you watch Dallas's offense is very good, right? It's one of the best in the league. Can't argue that. But the defense is playing very selfish. And it was interesting seeing that. And they were showing different clips showing players being selfish and the way they were playing and how selfish it was instead of playing together as a defense. And I found it very interesting. Watching that video because it was like it opened my eyes a lot to what was going, to it. I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense, But I mean, they should be able to stop the Giants. If they can't stop the Giants right now, I don't know. I'll be fucking speechless, honestly. So now we got Colts at Browns. Surprisingly, me and Fedge are picking Indianapolis. We're picking the Colts. Scratchy, however, is picking the Browns, and he's picking the Browns to win 38-26. Rivers looks bad. Me and Fedge have talked about this before. Rivers looks bad. Sometimes he looks okay, but he just looks bad. They need to look for the next quarterback. Jonathan Taylor is looking like a stud. I love watching Jonathan Taylor run. I loved him in Wisconsin. Of course, I love Quentin Nelson. And then that defense. The defense is playing pretty good. But Phillip needs. It's one of those things, and I'll kind of get to it at the end of this if everybody reminds me about the old quarterbacks. But they need a quarterback. The Browns. Landry throws the ball better than Baker Mayfield does. Like, I just you're starting one of your starting wide receivers throws the ball better than your starting quarterback. Myles Garrett is a fucking stud. Myles Garrett is a fucking stud. Like, and I think my thing with this is this. This is why I'm picking Indianapolis. I think losing Chubb is going to hurt them. Because Indy's defense doesn't play very selfish. They play like a defense should together. I think Chubb's going to be missed. I think Kareem Hunt is still going to be able to run. But I think Chubb will be missed, though, for those vital, like, I'm just going to run the ball right in A-gap, and I'm going to run the ball at A-gap. Fucking stop me. I think he's going to be missed. Odell's playing really well recently, but, I mean, fucking look at the teams he's playing. Like, name a good corner on one of the teams that they've beaten recently. Bengals, Cowboys. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this Browns hype. This is the thing the Browns do every year. They have 2 or 3 games where they fucking blow some teams out, and then immediately everybody jumps on the fucking Browns bandwagon, and then they're immediately gonna just fucking, they're just they're gonna do what they always do. It's the Cleveland Browns. They're gonna do what they always do. Fedge, I have no idea what happened week 4 last year. Go ahead. Sounds like Cowboy fans. Well, yeah, that too. I mean, they beat the Ravens. They did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So week 4 last year, they beat Baltimore. And then look how the season turned out. Week 4, they try to make a statement and then flop. This is week 5. They're playing Indianapolis. They should beat them. It's not going to happen. Moving on, we have Broncos at Patriots. Let's see here. Yep. Patriots across the board. Not surprised there. Scratchy, however, says, and this was one I found interesting. One of the ones I found interesting, anyway. Patriots went 20-16. I thought this was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Of course, Scratchy being, we're all New England, so Scratchy's the one that listens to a lot of Patriot stuff. Unfortunately, he's not here, so we can't really talk too much about the Pats. But the Broncos, I feel like they got extremely lucky. With that win versus the Jets, because, God, they didn't play half bad. The Jets played well in that game, but, I mean, the Broncos are doing what they do, man. I mean, they're just trying anyway right now. They have fucking, a third string quarterback, behind the rit. It's Ripien, Brett Ripien, I think his name is. And it's one of those other things. Do the Patriots play? Thank you, Josh. Josh said in chat, do the Patriots even play? I mean, it's a great question. I mean, you have Cam Newton out. Stephon Gilmore's out. I mean, I think they will, because there's only two. But that's the thing. My big question is this. Is Cam Newton back? Because the Hoyer Stidham thing is just... the Hoyer Stidham thing is just it's a fucking train wreck and a half. Mind you, I've liked Stidham since high school. They did like a high school series with him, and then he went to Baylor, and then he transferred from Baylor to Auburn. I was always on the Stidham train. I like Stidham. I think he could be a guy that he's one of those guys that's a backup guy that potentially could turn into a franchise guy. He's like a Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was a backup guy who potentially could have turned into a franchise guy, but he just didn't take that step. I think Stidham's a guy like that, and I think there's a potential that he could take that step. But I mean, I don't know, man. Also, no Gilmore makes it interesting. It makes it very interesting to see how this secondary plays and how the defense plays without their leader, basically, right? It makes it interesting. I think this is going to be a close game, like Scratchy said. It's a weird thing saying, the Patriots are potentially could lose to a third string quarterback from Denver. But then we get to Sunday Night Football. Vikings going to Seattle. The pack across the board picks Seattle. 38-21, Scratchy says. The Vikings honestly got lucky against Houston last week. They got lucky. And that luck runs out. They go up against arguably one of the top three teams in the NFL, in my opinion. They're not going to do it against this one. Wilson's going to continue to roll, and that defense is just going to continue to do what they do. They're going to play solid games and let Wilson win the game. That's what they do. If you watch Seattle, that's what they do. The defense plays well enough to let Russell win the games. That's all they have to do. But as Fedge just said, they need to play above their opponent. Last week they could have easily put probably 40 on the board against Miami, but they always played down to their opponent. That's a Steve Carroll thing. Steve Carroll always, right? They always play down to their opponent. And if you look at who the Seahawks have played so far this year, their record so far, their opponent record is so bad. It's the worst. It's one of the worst in the league, right? If you look at the people they've beaten. So, I mean, Fedge believes it's 4-12. So, it's one of those things like, are the Seahawks for real? Or are the Seahawks beating up on people? So, and then we get to Monday night, also Sunday night football right here on the Husky Nation. Also, you said it's 4-8, but right here on the Husky Nation, you can watch live me tell you what's going on in the game. It's play-by-play. It's like the radio, but you get to see my face. Unless you turn my screen off and you mute the TV and then you just listen to me instead. Either way works. Hope to see you all there. Monday Night Football. Chargers at Saints. Another wild card pick. I'm picking the Chargers. Fedge and Scratchy are both picking the Saints. Scratchy says the Saints are going to win, and he's going to say it's a close one at 22-19. This is my thing. This Chargers team is Herbert's team now. He's playing stupid well for a rookie. Like, stupid well. This is Herbert's team. Right? You see how the team is playing right now versus when they were playing with Tyrod Taylor. It's fucking drastically different. It's wild. Like, one of Herbert's first throws was a fucking, 70-yard touchdown or something like that last week against the Buccaneers. He just stopped back in the pocket, just gone. Right? I don't know if Tyrod Taylor can do that anymore. So Anthony Lynn's saying that, Herbert's still the backup and Tyrod's still our starter. Nah, bro. Nah, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. This is Herbert's team. You just don't know it yet. The Saints. The Saints played the Lions last week. They go down by 14. Then they woke the fuck up. Then they almost blew it. They almost pulled in Atlanta. And they almost blew it at the end of the game. The Saints are very wishy-washy. Everything just kind of... Either they look fucking stupid good and like they could win a Super Bowl, or they look like they're one of the worst teams in the league. I've said it before on stream. I think they use Taysom Hill too much. I think that they try to do too many gadget shit instead of just playing football and winning games. Their defense is just... I feel like the defense is a little suspect at points. I think Drew Brees' arm strength is in question. And Kamara does almost everything for that team. Overall, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think the Chargers go into New Orleans and make a statement with Herbert. Loud and clear. That's my thing. I think that the score will be... I think it's... Because if you think about it, the Lions got up big, and the Lions didn't keep the foot on the pedal. Which, shocking, it's the Lions. I think that the Chargers keep the foot on the pedal, and I think this gets out of fucking hand. I'm just gonna... That's my thinking. I think this gets out of fucking hand. But, we'll see. And that's the end. That's all the games. Kind of weird doing this just by myself. One of the things I did want to say, though, old quarterbacks. Old quarterbacks. Prowler, thank you for the host. That was 7 hours ago. Wow. That's wild. Old quarterbacks. Like Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Brady, Breeze. I get it. I get that they can still they can still throw the rock. They can still do the thing. They can still play quarterback at a very high level. The problem is, though, in my opinion, is you start looking at some of these guys and their arm strength isn't where it normally is. However, in their mind, they think it is. If you watch a lot of Phillip Rivers throws, or some of them, that dude, it looks like he's fucking struggling or putting everything he has into a throw that's 5 yards right now, let alone anything deep down the field. It looks like he's fucking having to put everything into a 5-yard fucking throw. It doesn't I think teams need to start thinking more future and less right now. That's kind of how I've always felt about teams anyway. You need to build and then fully rebuild, not reload, as some teams say. I know that was one of the famous ones for Baltimore. I think it was after they won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl, cut a ton of players, and they said they're reloading. Honestly, I think some of these teams need to start looking future a lot quicker than they probably were thinking they needed to. But yeah, I think some of these teams need to start looking future, like nowish, like try to figure out who they're going to get. Because, like I said, Rivers, Big Ben, Breeze even, and I'm even going to put Taysom Hill on there because Taysom Hill can't be the fucking backup for Breeze or the starter and when Breeze leaves. Taysom Hill's fucking 31 years old. I'm sorry, I'm not putting the hands of my franchise in a 31-year-old that is a gimmick player right now for my offense. I'm not. And I don't trust Jameis Winston either. So, I think the teams need to start embracing kind of the looking forward versus the looking right this second thing. Yeah, Taysom Hill. Let me check real quick. But that was one of the things that me and Fetch were talking about recently. Taysom Hill is 30 years old. He was born August 23rd, 1990. So you're telling me that you would rather have Taysom Hill start your team versus drafting a rookie and having him ball out? You're wild. You're wild. But all right, everybody, that's the end of the effing title for this week. I hope you all have enjoyed it. Let me know what some of your opinions and things are on the season right now in the comments down below. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay out of trouble, stay safe, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye.